Hi there! In today's video, I will have a new look on the Xian Xian Princess line doll. And in case you're not new here, you probably know that this line is definitely not my favorite. I absolutely adore the clothing line or most of the clothes, but not so much the dolls, and there are plenty reasons for that. Maybe you have seen the two videos from last year. Last year. It was already last year. Okay, the videos from last year, but these dolls here are from newer lines, especially the two girls on the right. And I'm excited to see if they have improved. I bought all the dolls on sale, so we have two different sellers I bought these dolls from, and the two on the left are from one seller, and the two on the right are also from a different one. So the dolls on the left arrived in a styrofoam box. Each one arrived in a styrofoam box, and the one on the left is a little bit dented, but nothing major happened to these dolls. But the ones on the right only were shipped in a slightly padded envelope. And only the girl with the flocked hair even had a plastic bag around her. The other one was completely naked, only with her hairnet and the plastic wrapping around her face. Very interesting. I mean, they both arrived safe and sound, but that was only luck and not something that you could expect. Because when I bought these dolls, the listing had absolutely no reviews. Now the listing does have reviews, and some people did not have so much luck. But I also have to say that they were really low priced for a new series or newer series. Because for the girls on the right, I paid under 11 euros each in total, and the girls on the left, the blonde one was the most expensive one with 12 euros and 90 cents in total, and the other one was around 11.80. So all of these dolls are in general in the range of the price of a fashionista, because I recently had a comment that they are happy with these dolls, especially because the price is around a fashionista doll, and for that the quality is quite nice, and that is exactly what I think about them. I think when you get them for a good price, there's nothing wrong with them, especially when you like the whole doll. I personally am not a fan of the face molds. I actually only like the Barbie imitation and the newest one, the one that you can see here on the right side without packaging. But who knows, maybe they can convince me in the future, since usually I do have to pay quite a bit more for these dolls. And so far, I was not quite willing to do that since the first experience with them was not so good. But as I said, let's have a look on these four new girls here. The first girl, the blonde girl, does not really look like her promo picture. In the promo picture, I think the hair is a little bit lighter. Also, it is straight. This girl here does have slightly curly hair, and also her blushing is not the same as in the pictures. The box arrived a little bit crushed, but nothing is broken. I think she is in good condition. She only has a very weird looking mark on one of her knees. No idea where this came from, but later on I was able to remove it with just washing it off, so it's not a big of a deal. But she does have a tiny defect on one of her hands, or better said, on one of her finger or her index finger. There is a tiny chunk of material missing, which is of course not so great. Her hair is nice and soft. It is again high quality nylon. It is a very nice hair fiber, and therefore it is a big plus for these dolls here. The next girl does have exactly the same face sculpt as the blonde one, it just has a different screening. I will show you that a little bit better in a few seconds, but for now, it is what it is. I know I'm pretty sure there are still people out there who think that it is a different face sculpt, but it is not, it is the same one. At that point, I couldn't see any defect on her, and she also does have the same high quality nylon hair fiber. The next girl with the flocked hair does of course have a completely different face mold. I was surprised that the head has near to no mobility on that neck, and maybe that's because of the firmness of the head, because it is a very hard one. But in a future video, I will remove the heads from at least 3 of those 4 girls that you can see here, and maybe with a different head there would be also more movement. We will see that. The last girl does have the same skin tone. It is also the same face mode, just also different screening, but not so much different than number 1 and number 2 do have. She arrived with a hairnet and also this plastic wrap. And now I understand why some people wrote that this girl here or new adults do have saran hair. This hair is definitely still nylon, but they used a kind of coat over it because it feels greasy. I'm not gonna lie, but this is not saran. This is still nylon, a very nice and high quality nylon, but it is nylon. And they put something on it. I guess it is for the curls to stay a little bit more neatly. Maybe it is for tricking people, but I think it is just for the curls to be in nice shape when you actually get the doll. And I was surprised that she does have quite a range of motion for her head. I think she does not have any defect. The seam lines on all of these dolls are finished quite nicely, which is impressive for a doll line for that price. Now I do have to remove the rest of the packaging for the girls on the left to check if they arrived with any defect or loose joints. And for the first girl, the under bust joint is extremely loose. She does not have a cracked open bust, not like the first one that I reviewed, but it is still extremely wobbly and very loose. But actually, what do I like more? An underbust joint that does have absolutely no function like on a Mizi doll, or this one here that is wobbly. Actually, I guess I would go with the wobbly one because you still do have mobility, and under clothes, I guess it is not so intense, but we will see that later on. Of course, this girl here still does have these rubbery legs that I do not like. They are bendy, and when you put your doll in a lot of clothes, they will get crooked. I simply don't like these legs. And also not the arms, but the new girls do not have those flimsy legs or flimsy lower arms. They are way more firm. The thing is, the girls on the left, I think, are from the second wave, and the girls on the right, they are one of the newest ones. I don't know how many they were because I'm not so much into these dolls, but still, they did improve on that, and overall, the finishing of the 2 darker skinned dolls feels even better than on the girls on the left side. The newer girls still do have different material for the upper part of legs and arms. They use plastic, the same kind of plastic as for the torso part, but the lower parts are made out of a rubber material, but it is way more dense and firm. And also, in my opinion, the early material does have a distinct plastic smell, and that is not the case so much for the new stuff. So I definitely appreciate that improvement a lot. I mean, the joints are still on the loose side in general, and that's the case for all of these dolls, except for the heads. They are quite stiff, but at least they look straightforward. Here you can see the 2 older girls side by side, and I think it is very clear that these 2 girls do have the same face sculpt and just a different screening. The girl on the right also does have a very deep, dark scratch on her nose, and I was also not able to remove that, which is also not so great, but as I said, I did not plan to use these dolls with their original heads in the long run, so it is okay to me. And I wonder why the head on the right looks quite good in the pictures, because actually when I do have her in hands, she's quite wonky. She's not super wonky, but she is wonky. One of her eye is lower than the other one, and I don't know. It is still in a okay range since you have to expect that also from Barbie, and Barbies are usually way more expensive, especially when they are not pixelated and they don't have polypropylene hair, so I won't moan too much on this doll here, but I will do that for this new model here. I mean, the flocking is quite nice. I do not have any glue stains, and the flocking is also pretty dense, so no bald spots, but she looks very crooked. I think what the Xian Xian Princess doll line can do very easily, they look good on camera, they look good on pictures and also on footage in general, but in person, this girl here is wonky as hell. She is really extremely wonky. One eye sits so much lower than the other one, and it is also tinier, and I wonder how they do that since in footage it does not look too bad, but in person this is bad. Maybe you can see that a little bit better while I move the doll, but as I said, in person, in my opinion, I might be a little bit picky, but she is really wonky. Also, her twin sister is wonky, but since her eyes are smaller, it is not so obvious, and in person, it is not that strong. So, these two girls here are quite wonky, even though it is not so intense on camera. I don't know, what do you think? Do you have these dolls? I'm pretty sure you do have these dolls. Do you have any problems with the degree of wonkiness on these dolls? Because I don't know. I think all of us collectors do have a certain acceptance of wonkiness. Of course, even though it is a mass produced item, the screenings will vary. Sometimes you do have. Okay, come on. We all have Mattel dolls at home, and sometimes the screening is really, really, really bad, but most of the times it is okay. And I guess sometimes it also depends on how much you like the doll in general, if you are able to accept the wonkiness or just not. Anyway, I would like to have a look on skin comparisons for these dolls here because I bought them more or less only to become body donators, but the girl on the far right that you have seen before, she will be the lucky one who keeps her original head, all the other ones will lose it, even though I keep the blonde girl on her body for styling. Speaking of the blonde girl, she is the one for the first skin comparison. And here you can see her together with a super white Luly on the far left. Then of course it is the Xian Xian Princess doll. Next up is super white Mizi, then super white Mengf, then pink white Luly, then the Move tennis player. After that you can see a Mengf with pink white. And on the far right, you can see a Defalusi head on a white Mengf body. So the Xian Xian Princess here does have a very light skin tone. It does have a slight pinkish undertone, but also a grayish undertone. Pretty similar to the super white Luly body, but with more pink in it. The Mitzi body is a bit more on the peachier side, but still, the colors are quite similar. The super white Mengf is also not too far off. It is also more on the peachier or a little bit more yellow side than the Xian Xian Princess one. The pink white Luly is already way darker or way peachier than the Xian Xian Princess one. Same goes for the tennis player. It is darker and also has a more peachy undertone. The pink-white Mengf body does have more or less exactly the same color as the tennis player, so it is also darker and more peachy than the Xian Xian Princess doll. And of course, the white skin Mengf is way darker, and since there's not much more space, I can already tell you that the Yoga Purple Top Move would have nearly the same skin color, so the Xian Xian Princess doll, this one here, is way lighter than your usual standard Barbie. Here you can also see the purple hair Udine mermaid head. I mean, I guess the combination of this head and this body would not look awful, but the head is way darker and more yellow in its undertone. The next lineup is for the second Xian Xian Princess doll, and from the seller pictures it looks like that this girl here is already pretty tan or dark, but in fact she really is not. On the far left you can see the beige Mizi body. This is also an original body, but the fake ones and the original ones do have nearly exactly the same color. Next up is a Luly in light brown. This is not beige. Beige is a very weird color when it comes to Luly bodies. This here is light brown. Next up is a beige colored Mengf body. Then you do have the Xian Xian Princess one. And the next girl does have a pink tie-dye yoga made to move body. The next Barbie made to move is a pink top yoga made to move. Then you can see the pink Udie mermaid on a brown Luly body. And the girl on the far right, this is green tie-dye. So, skin tone wise, the Xian Xian Princess is more or less exactly in the middle. And when it comes to Barbie heads, I would say you still do have a good chance for a decent match with a standard new neutral colored head. But the body here, the Xian Xian Princess, is a bit more gray and not as yellow as standard Barbie heads. Mizi is a bit lighter. The Luly light brown is also a bit lighter than the Xian Xian Princess one. Mengf beige is nearly exact the same color, I would say. Maybe Mengf is a tiny bit yellower. The pink tie-dye does have a more peachy undertone. The pink top made to move is definitely darker and also yellower than the Xian Xian Princess one. The brown Luly body is way darker and also does have now a more red undertone than the Xian Xian Princess doll, which is nearly the exact difference for the green tie-dye body. I think the green tie-dye is even a bit darker than the Luly body, but the differences are only minor. The next color comparison is of course the last one, since the two newer girls do have the same skin color. Also, this skin color for the Xian Xian Princess doll is not so dark for a darker skinned doll. The first body that you can see on the far left is a Mengf body in color dark brown, and the next one with the Kira head is new brown. And yes, I have to say, the colors of Mengf bodies are a bit confusing, and at least the doll's retail store call them that way, because I think some sellers do have different names for those colors, which is a bit complicated. Anyway, next up is a Mizi body. Then we do have the Xian Xian Princess one. The first made to move you can see is a yellow top yoga made to move body. Next up is purple tie-dye. The next girl is again a Barbie hybrid with a coffee skin tone Mengf body. And on the far right, this body here is a Luly body in dark brown. So the dark brown Mengf looks very different compared to the Xian Xian Princess doll, much lighter and also with a very noticeable yellow undertone. The new brown color is very similar, I would say also here. The undertone for the Mengf body is a bit more on the yellow side, but this body here does have way more red compared to the dark brown Mengf, so it is similar to the Xian Xian Princess doll. Next up is Mizi, and this body here is darker than the new brown Mengf, but it does have a more yellow undertone, but I still think it is similar to the Xian Xian Princess doll. The yellow top made to move is also similar. Maybe it is a little bit darker, but the colors are similar, so you would have a body donor with the Xian Xian Princess darker skinned dolls for, I think, quite a bunch of Barbie heads. Next up, the purple tie-dye is already darker, and as far as I know or what I have read, you can also get this purple tie-dye color with newer made to move, but I think the yellow top, which is a bit lighter, is not used again. So I guess you do have to decide what would be a better match, but overall it is the same color range, I would say. The Mengf coffee skin tone is already way darker. It also does have a red undertone, but still it is darker, and so is also the Luly dark brown. After the overview for similar skin colors of different companies, it's now time to style at least 2 of the 4 girls. For that, I washed the hair of both of these 2 girls here. And for the blonde one, I also decided to give her a hot boil rinse because I was hoping to get out all the waves in the hair or the curls, but that was not the case. And I guess for getting a complete straight hair, you will need a hair straightener. But I like the semi-wavy look, and the hair is now even softer and it looks a bit nicer, I think. She does not have pre-pierced ears, and she is very thickly rooted, so she does have a lot of plugs. She lost a lot of hair during the process, so yeah, the hair is definitely not secured in any way. They just root in the nylon hair, and so you will lose a bit hair when you wash and style those dolls, but they do come, or at least this girl here comes with so much hair, so it is not really that big of a deal, in my opinion. But that is not so much the case with the other girl. For the other girl, I only gave her a hair wash and no hot bar rinse since I wanted to keep the curls. And that was the wrong decision. Her hair is still greasy. You can now argue with me that it might be saran hair, but I still think it is nylon and they use a weird coating because I had a similar experience with newer Barbie dolls that do have poly hair and also kind of coating over that so that the hair indeed feels a bit greasy, and I think they do that to trick us. I mean, maybe I'm just a person who always think that the glass is half empty and maybe it is only to give us a better experience. I don't know. You have to judge about that for yourself. But I should have washed this girl here at least twice, so I will have to do that later on. She does have pre-pierced ears, and I have to say I do not really like the ankle when the earring sits in, but it is okay. You will later on see that in the styling, and it totally depends on what kind of earring you choose for her. When it comes to her hair, she also does have way less hair than the blonde doll. She has way less plugs, so in general, way less hair. Is it big of a deal? Yeah, actually a little bit, because so far the real big plus point on these was the real nice nylon hair and the thick rooting. I mean, it is still enough hair, and maybe other dolls from that line do have more hair, but when I compare these 2 girls with each other, the older girl with blonde hair does have a way nicer hair rooting pattern. And for styling, they of course need some clothes, and I thought, why not giving them Xian Xian Princess outfits? The first outfit is the newer one. I think it's not from the newest line, but it is a recent one, I think. I paid a little bit under 8 euros for this set here. The showstopper of the set is of course the jacket. It is kind of a vinyl material. The material is not too thin, the cut is nice. The jacket is not lined, it also does not have a zipper or any kind of button, but the stitching is good. The pockets are not glued on. I mean, they are not fully functional, but they look good and you could pretend to put a hand inside, so I think it is a nice jacket. The set also comes with a pair of pants and a shirt, and the pants are horrible. This is really garbage. It is thin, see-through material. The edges or the bottom of the pants are not hemmed at all, they're just cut off, so everything is tearing up because it is even not heat sealed. So this is really bad quality. I don't know what is going on, but I do have the feeling that the quality of the clothing line is declining. I hope that is not really the case, but I'm a little bit mad about this quality here. I mean, this is not a super expensive set, and the sets I was really impressed by cost more than the double of this set here. So let's continue with the shirt. And this is even worse. What should I think about this piece here? They simply cut off the neck cutout and nothing is hemmed there. It is totally raw and it is even not heat sealed. So what on earth were they thinking? This is definitely not a good quality piece. I won't use pants or shirt for the styling and I will not use them on any of my dolls. With the set, there's also a bag included, and I guess most collectors already know that it is nothing else than a mini brand's fashion bag from Series 1. I mean, the quality is not bad, it is a nice bag, and in case you do not already have it, it is a good addition to your collection. Even though I think this bag is a bit big for standard fashion dolls, since it does have the shape of a regular handbag. And I don't know what the problem is, but the magnet of the handbag from the set will not stay closed. Here you can see the same bag from my collection. It seems that the magnet is a little bit stronger, but also the little piece where the magnet is embedded is a bit shorter, so maybe that is the reason why the older bag stays closed. And so I will use the older bag for the styling. But here you can see the new bag on the new doll so that you can see the sizing a little bit better, because later in the styling the bag won't be so much in focus, and so you can see here that the model is not really a good size for fashion dolls in my opinion, but it is included, and for the whole set price I think it's okay, and later on I will simply use the new bag also for different kind of doll. The next set is an older set, and I'm very happy that this time the quality is again pretty good. I paid 8 euros for this set here, so it was around the same price as for the set you have seen before, just a little bit more expensive. I'm surprised by the quality of the fabric. It does feel like a jean material, not too thick and not too thin, so this is very pretty, I have to say that. The top is embroidered, and I think the big label print is a little bit cheesy, but I thought, why not, for this video here. I think it is a funny gimmick, and later on I do like it on the doll. The pants are made from the same kind of material, the quality is really good, the stitching is good. Of course, the bottom is not hemmed, it is fraying out, and that is part of the look, so I'm not mad about it. Also, the material is not fragile, and the stitching on the sides of the flared part are very sturdy. I also like the golden button detail on the front, so in general, these pants are really pretty. Included in the set is also this bag, even though it is not a real bag, it is more like a simple accessory, also with the Xian Xian name on it. You cannot open the bag, and it is stuffed with a material that feels like a cotton ball. The golden chain is long, so you could wear this bag crossbody. And the set also comes with this wrap skirt, so everything is pretty much Y2K inspired. And you also get these heart-shaped sunglasses. And you also get a pair of shoes. I'm not a big fan of these shoes, but the other set didn't came with shoes at all, and this one here at least does have some. And later on, I understood why Xian Xian Princess outfits often come with the same kind of shoes. I didn't know that the Xian Xian Princess body does have so big feet. It is not so easy to find nice shoes for them. Anyway, it's finally time for the real styling. So here's the first girl. I partially tied her hair in the back, so it is a bit easier to handle her hair for the styling. But I did nothing to the hair of the newer doll. I will have to wash her hair again in the future, but for now I think it's okay. The girl on the right will get a pair of sunnies, the pink vinyl jacket, an off-white shirt, some black pants, which are on the short side, but at least the finishing is way better than the original ones, and a pair of shoes, plus the bag that you have seen before. So this is not the one from the set, it is a piece that I got from a Mini Brands fashion ball, but I simply couldn't stand the fact that the bag couldn't be closed. The girl on the left will get a pair of golden earrings, a golden necklace, and then all the fabric pieces that were included in the set, plus this little mini brand's fashion belt, a little golden bracelet, and a pair of white shoes instead of the ones that were included. And she will also get the bag that was included with the outfit, just not the sunglasses. And here they are. What do you think? Do you think they look good or not so much? Actually, I'm pretty happy with the styling, even though I'm disappointed by the set with the jacket. I didn't expect that, to be honest, because I don't think that a black pair of pants and a shirt is that costly, and I'm not used by this lack of quality when it comes to Xian Xian Princess. Sometimes the fitting can be problematic, but the quality of the fabric and the finishing usually is better. Even though I lately had a similar disappointing experience, even though it is not the same issue, or it was not the same issue like I had today, but I'm a little bit concerned. I do have quite a bunch of Xian Xian Princess clothes to review, and I always open them on camera, so I don't know what to expect, and I'm a little bit worried. However, this video is not about the clothes. This video should have been about the dolls in general, but I think both parts do belong together, and I still don't know what to think about it. Do I now love the dolls? No, I don't. I still don't love the dolls, especially not the older ones. The new one is definitely better. I do like the face. I'm not really sure, do I really like it or is it a bit weird? I think the shape is really a bit weird, but it looks very good on camera, and I highly appreciate the new material for the lower legs and the lower arms. So in general, I think the company improved this line, but of course not everything is perfect. It is a fashion doll with a decent quality for the right price. And I think the comparison with the fashionista is exactly the perfect comparison, because for the price of a fashionista, you cannot get wrong with these dolls. The joints are very loose. Some of the material is very smelly in my opinion, and the screening is often very wonky. They also come with tiny defects, but I think all of that is acceptable when you get these dolls for a good price. And I think the most important part for the majority of collectors is the look, and the look of these dolls is good. And as I said, for the right price, they might even be an option as body donator, because that is the reason I bought these dolls. Even though the girl on the right will keep her head on her shoulders, but the rest will lose their heads. For copy Parker hats, because now you can even buy the copy Parker hats without the Mizi bodies, and I'm curious if they do have a better movement on this type of body, but the darker skinned one are still in transit, so I hopefully get them the next days. And from the skin comparison, I think it is definitely possible that the Xian Xian Princess bodies would be an affordable body donor option. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. We will see that in a future video. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you had a good time, and I also hope to see you again in one of my next videos. Until then, take care guys. Bye.